Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a fundamental shift in thinking that can totally transform your team. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of why understanding the difference between responsibility and accountability is an absolute game changer for any leader.
So let me just ask you this right up front. Think about your team for a second. Are they just checking boxes off a to-do list, or are they genuine owners, people who actively hunt down and crush challenges? The answer to that question, well, it gets to the very heart of what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start by talking about something I call the responsibility trap. Then, we'll flip that and explore the accountability mindset. After that, we get super practical with 4 specific actions you can take. We'll also look at how to measure if this stuff is even working, and we'll wrap up with some common pitfalls to watch out for. Okay, let's dive into part 1, the responsibility trap. You've probably seen this in action, maybe without even realizing it. It's kind of the default setting in a lot of companies, and honestly, it's a model that really puts a ceiling on what your team can achieve. It creates followers, not leaders.
So, what does a responsibility culture actually look like? Well, it's pretty simple. Employees get a list of tasks, and success is just completing that list. The dominant mindset becomes, just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And look, that might seem efficient on the surface, but it creates this huge blind spot where initiative and proactive thinking just go to die.
And here's where the rubber meets the road. This is the core difference. Responsibility is reactive. It's all about the what, the specific task you were given. But accountability? That's proactive. It focuses on the why, the actual problem you're trying to solve. One gets you compliance, which is fine. The other, though, that's what sparks real innovation.
So, if responsibility is the trap we can all fall into, accountability is definitely the escape hatch. Let's dig into how this mindset is really the secret to unlocking genuine empowerment and getting much, much better results.
This table just lays it all out so clearly. When you shift to accountability, you see the focus move from the what, the task, to the why, the real problem. And that changes behavior. People stop being just reactive and compliant. They become proactive, innovative, and focused on the outcome. It's about results, not just activity. That's why it's the model that high-performing teams always shoot for.
To make this even more real, let's use a super simple analogy. Let's say you ask someone on your team to clean a room. How they actually handle that one simple request tells you everything you need to know about their mindset.
Okay, so the responsible person, they'll sweep the floor, they'll dust the shelves, they do exactly what was on the checklist. The accountable person, though, they do all of that, but then they notice the light bulb in the corner is burned out, and they go and replace it without anyone ever telling them to. See the difference? They don't just own the task, clean this room, they own the outcome, which is make this room a great, functional space. That right there, that's true ownership.
All right, so you see the power in this. You get it. The big question is, how do you actually start building this kind of culture? So let's get really practical. Here are 4 things you, as a leader, can start doing like today.
First, and this is huge, delegate problems, not tasks. So instead of saying, hey, go call 10 clients, try saying, guys, our client retention is down 5%. I need you to own this problem and figure out how we can fix it. Second, define success by the outcome, not by the busy work. Reward the fact that the problem got solved, not how many hours someone spent on it. Third, constantly ask why. It's so simple, but it keeps the team focused on the bigger picture, not just the tiny steps. And finally, you have to create a safe-to-fail culture. Because if someone takes a risk and gets punished for it, guess what? They'll never take initiative again. They'll just retreat back to waiting for your instructions.
So making this shift isn't just about good vibes or a feeling, it's something you can actually measure. Let's look at 2 key metrics, a leading indicator and a lagging indicator, that'll tell you if you're really building that culture of ownership.
Your key leading indicator is all about the number of improvements that your team starts on their own. Are people coming to you with ideas? Are they proactively suggesting fixes? When you see that number go up, it's a massive sign that they feel empowered. They feel like owners. This metric basically predicts your future success.
Now for your lagging indicator. This one is the time it takes for your team to solve problems that nobody saw coming. When something just breaks, and it's not in anyone's job description. How quickly does the team just swarm it and get it fixed? When that resolution time starts shrinking, that's your hard proof that the accountability culture is really taking hold.
Making this cultural shift is incredibly powerful. But let's be real, it's not always easy. There are definitely some challenges, so let's cover a few of the most common pitfalls so you can steer clear of them. First, the micromanager problem. You've got to ask yourself honestly, can you really let go of the reins? If you can't, this whole culture is dead before it even starts. Second, a lack of clarity. Your team can't possibly be accountable for solving a problem that they don't fully understand. You have to be crystal clear on the desired outcome. And finally, you got to watch out for the dreaded not my job syndrome. You'll need to actively coach people to think bigger than their job description and to own the collective outcome.
At the end of the day, it all just boils down to this one simple idea. A responsible employee does what they're told to do. An accountable employee does whatever is necessary to actually solve the problem. One person is just following the map you gave them. The other one owns the destination.
And that brings us to one final thought, a challenge for you to take away from this. Think about your team, your goals for this next week. What is one real problem, and I mean a problem, not a checklist of tasks, that you can delegate to your team tomorrow? Something you can hand over and give them the full autonomy to own it and to solve it.